Just a quick video today on automating Hydrasynth program changes in Bitwig 6. We'll be looking at obviously Bitwig and the Hydrasynth. No need to see my face today. So let's go ahead and get started. Our first step will be on the Hydrasynth, and what we will do is start with on the system setup page, specifically system setup page number 6, I believe it is. So just pop down to number 6, and you're going to want to make sure that program change RX is set to on. If it's set to off, just turn that to change it. And I would recommend most of the time leaving program change TX or transmit to off. What this does is this sets the Hydrasynth up to receive program changes, but not send them. And the reason you might want to not send program changes is if in your DAW you are set up to receive information, MIDI information from any controller. If you don't turn this off and you have something else that sends a program change, for instance, a Leviasynth, you will be changing patches when you don't necessarily want to. Anything else in here you can set up as you need. Most of the time you're going to want your parameter transmit and receive both set to CC. Overflow off unless you are polychaining to Hydrasynths. I have a case for ARP transmit being off. What ARP transmit does is if you're using the internal arpeggiator, it sends the note data instead of the actual note data. What I have found is that when using an external arpeggiator, having ARP transmit on causes the arpeggiation to not work. So that's it for this page. That's the only thing that I believe you need to change in the Hydrasynth itself. So next we're going to go over and we're going to take a look at Bitwig and see what changes we need to make there. So first thing you're going to do in Bitwig is you're going to add an instrument track. So I go out here, I right click, add instrument track. On the instrument track, the first thing we're going to do, and this is the key to the whole thing, we're going to go plus here, and I set this just for everything to make it searching easier. And we're going to use a MIDI program change, which is a note effect. So we add a MIDI MIDI program change, excuse me. And then we're also going to add, the next thing we're going to add is a hardware instrument. So you can just grab this, type in HW, because it's expecting to add an instrument on an instrument track. Add the hardware instrument, say OK. Okay, so quick setup next. We will set up the hardware instrument itself. The MIDI out is going to be going to your Hydrasynth. In my case, it's Hydrasynth DR. I'm going over USB in this case. And I'll go ahead and set up the return audio, which is just to find my Hydrasynth on my audio interface and select it. I'll also go ahead and turn on MIDI clock now. You don't necessarily need to do that. It's not important. And in my own case, I actually have special presets for the Hydrasynth, but we're just going to use a generic for now. So over here now in the MIDI program change device, we're going to turn off chain only. This is kind of important. If you don't turn this off, then information from this device will not be sent to the hardware instrument. So we're going to turn chain only off. The next thing we want to do is we want to enable the bank control information, and that is these two little MIDI connector graphics. So once that's done, that's basically the entire setup to make it work. So when you're looking at this, it's important to know. So auto send sets it up so that you can, any change you make here will automatically be sent immediately to the Hydrasynth. Other things to know, that MSB, bank MSB is always MSB1 and for the Hydrasynth and also for the Leviasynth, it turns out. And the bank LSB is what you use to select the bank number. So the banks are on the Hydrasynth are A, B, C, D, et cetera, et cetera. So that works out to A equals LSB1, LSB2 is B, LSB3 is C, etc. So what I want to do now, I'm going to go ahead and load up a patch on my Hydrasynth. And what I forgot to do is exit out of the system setup menu, but you need to do that. And so what we'll do is, let me do that. So what we're going to do is, at this point, if I make a change here, and I usually do bank first. So let's say I want to call up bank F preset 7, which is called Mellow Drone. So I'm going to set my LSB to 6, and I know that's program 7 or preset 7, so I'll bring that up to 7, and it has now selected Mellow Drone on the Hydrasynth. So that's all there is to it, and makes it very simple. And just a couple of things cases that you might want to look at if you have multiple instruments of the Hydrasynth in your in your project. You may want to turn auto send off and use the send now, because otherwise it's going to try and send multiple program changes when you load the project. But I tend to only have 1 or 2 at a time, and you can turn this on and off as needed as you're adding more or more Hydrasynths. Again, the same thing works for the Leviasynth. It works exactly the same way. There's some slightly different menus on the Leviasynth, and I'll do a video on that at a later date. So that's it. That's all there is to it. Any questions, drop them in the comments or hit me on a Discord or on my website. Thanks.